A man and a woman in Florida were arrested this week after school staff reported that a child in their care came to school filthy with roaches in her backpack, leading authorities back to her home where they described as being filthy and in complete disarray. Samantha Acker and Christopher Rounds were taken into custody on Tuesday and charged with 4 counts each of neglect of a child. On September 12th, County Sheriff's Office responded to a call from school officials after a 15-year-old girl who was deaf and mute arrived at school unbathed with dirty clothing and cockroaches in her backpack. In addition to the 15-year-old, deputies said there were 3 other kids ages 16, 10, and 8 who also lived in the home. Deputies said that all of the children were wearing clothing that had not been washed in a long time. The front of the home was covered with more than 200 smoked cigarette butts. There was partially eaten food throughout the home, and on the floors next to the trash and dirty dishes and garbage piles blocked most of the doorways to the children's bedroom, where the bedding apparently had not been washed in some times. There was no working air conditioning despite temperatures regularly reaching close to 90 degrees. Despite the 15-year-old being deaf and mute since birth, no one in the household knew sign language or could competently communicate with the child. It was revealed that Department of Children and Families had previously been called to the same address based on concerns that Acker and Rounds were providing unsuitable living conditions after one of their children was reported as having chronic head lice. Authorities said Acker reportedly said that the condition of the house was a mess but not that bad, and blamed her children for never helping her clean the residence. Christopher Rounds blamed the home's deplorable state on the family having financial issues. All 4 of the children were placed in custody of DCF and relocated to temporary guardians. Over in Pensacola, a 30-year-old woman, Shaisha Knight, Tuesday was arrested after 6 children and their juvenile babysitter were found in an apartment without food and running water. Shaisha Knight was arrested and charged after deputies found multiple children living in the reportedly filthy cockroach-infested home. When deputies arrived at the home, they were immediately overcome by a very strong stench coming from the residence. Once the juvenile babysitter allowed deputies to enter the home, law enforcement smelled feces, urine, raw sewage, rotten food, and garbage and saw multiple children. The officer says, "I saw a heavily soiled mattress on the living room floor, a roach infestation in the living room, dirty diapers on the floor, rotten food on the floor, human feces and maggots in the toilet, a large pile of dirty clothes on the living room floor." One of the deputies said, "I observed there was no running water in the apartment, and the toilet was full of feces and maggots." One of the deputies also saw one of the children who appeared to be in medical distress and appeared to move in and out of consciousness. That child was rushed to Sacred Heart Hospital. Hospital personnel later transferred the child to pediatric intensive care because the child was not regaining consciousness. Tests later revealed the child was positive for THC in his blood, according to the report. In spite of these conditions, Knight asked a juvenile to watch or babysit the kids in the home. All parents remain in custody at county jails.